Alrighty, hour number two of our radio program. That's right. It is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. Last weekend, it was a monster weekend in college football. Michigan did go to Lincoln, Nebraska, and they did get a road victory. And Justice Haynes played a big role in that. Their running back transferring over from Alabama. He's been off to an awesome start to the season. And up against the Cornhuskers, he had 17 carries for 149 yards and ripped off a run 75 yards to the house for a touchdown. The Michigan running back in Justice Haynes is kind enough to join us right now. Justice, first off, congratulations on the win and the performance. Appreciate the time. And how are you?
Yes, sir. I've been good. Thank you for allowing me to come on here, and I've been great. And it's always great to get a good win on Saturday.
There were a lot of questions about this Michigan team after the way you guys performed up against Oklahoma. I know you guys had a game in between, but what you guys have done the last two times out, especially in Lincoln up against the Cornhuskers, what do you think the Michigan Wolverines have kind of showed everyone what team you could be with the last two times you got on a football field?
I mean, we don't let one week define us. So that Oklahoma loss, we watched the film, we learned from it. But one thing that we emphasized after that loss was it's not the what, it's the how. It's the how we do things around here. And I think that's a big emphasis, and that's an emphasis that we're gonna keep going through forward. And it just kind of lighted gas to our fire. We know we didn't execute the way we wanted to execute against Oklahoma, and we don't want to live life in regret. And so we want to just continue to keep moving forward what we can move forward in and winning the day, winning each meeting, winning each opportunity we get. And that's ultimately going to make us successful. And like I said, it's not the what, it's the how. So I think that's what we've been showing.
You've had a really good start to the season individually. You've had four straight 100 plus yard games. You've been able to break out these long touchdown runs. Take me through the 75-yard home run hitter that got you in the end zone on Saturday.
Yeah, first of all glory to God for just giving me the ability to go do that. And just allowing me to play this game each and every day. But Coach Lindsey called a great play call. Bryce had a good handoff. O-line blocked great. Crip, his block was tremendous. That was the block that sprung the big run. And then the receivers and the tight ends blocking downfield. That's where the big plays come from. At the end of the day, those were the big plays come from because without them blocking down the field, there's DBs in the secondary that can make plays. So them being able to block downfield is big and tremendous. And then I just saw green grass and I just kind of ran to it. Saw the safety came down and yeah, ran.
Michigan, the last 3 to 4 years, they've been known, right? Physical offensive lines, physical defensive line, and then really pounding the rock and dominating in the run game. When you guys walked into that one up against Nebraska, a big key for Nebraska was going to be how could you slow down the 1-2 punch that Michigan has on the offensive side of the ball, running the ball, also with the ability of your quarterback, too. Did you guys think that was a favorable matchup for you guys on the ground going into that one? Because you guys had a lot of success on Saturday running the ball.
I think any game we go into, we pride ourselves on that. We pride ourselves on being able to run the ball and stop the run. So anytime we go into a game, that's what we want to establish. We know it starts with the O line. We know it starts with the D line. And it starts in the trenches. And we win the trenches. Most times out of not, that's any football team, you're going to win the game usually. So we know that. We take a lot of pride in that. But I think, any opponent we go against, we feel confident in our ability. We feel confident in what we do here each and every day. And like I said, it's not the what, it's the how. It's the how we do things. It's not what the play call was, it's how we execute it. So I think as long as we continue to keep doing that, we'll continue to keep having success.
Justice Haynes here with us. You never know what it's going to be like when you transfer. I always call the transfer portal, it's like speed dating. You
Yeah.
could think you're getting in a good relationship and then it doesn't work out. You could also think you're getting into a good relationship and it does work out and you end up marrying that person. For you, 4 games in, it seems like this transition to Michigan has been seamless and it's been pretty much perfect for you. Why has that been the case that Michigan's the right fit for one Justice Haynes?
Yeah, I felt like God was really pushing me here. He had a special calling for me here. And I knew coming into the portal, I was just gonna put it into God's hands, and that's what I did. I fell in love with this place from the moment I got here. But I fell in love with, Coach Moore, the love he has for us players, and the way he goes about business and the way he can, he knows how to have fun, but then he also knows when it's time to be serious and time to lock in and be about our business. So, that's what I love about it. But then also there's the running back room. I mean, man, TA, like that man right there, like I love that man to death. I'll do anything for that man. Um, he's the reason I came here. TA, Freddie J, those are the reasons I came here. the amount of knowledge in that room, them too. Like it starts in the top, and we talk about it all the time in our running back room. And the way that this whole team's accepted me has really been a true blessing. But we talk about it all the time in our room. Like we don't want to just be the best unit. We want to be the best unit in the country, complete country. Like anyone you look at our room, you should be able to say like that's the best unit in the country. So we talk about that, and then you shouldn't be able to tell a leader, and I don't think you can in our room. I think our whole room is talented as all get out. But it starts in the top with Freddie J and TA pushing us each and every day, and ultimately carries on to us players, and then we carry that on to the team.
But why did you leave Alabama? We all know their football tradition and how great of a school they've been for so many years in football. Why did Justice Haynes say, "Okay, I need to go to a different school"?
I think it was just I felt like God was pushing me in a different direction. I truly felt like, I had prayed on it and I'm very faithful. And I felt like God, I was very thankful for my time, and I'm very thankful for my time that I had at Alabama. It was well spent, learned a lot. But sometimes God has a different calling for you, and I feel like that's what it was. He had a different path for me. And that's why I ultimately got in the portal, and God had a calling for me to come to Michigan, so that's why I ended up here. Um, but yeah.
You got recruited by Nick Saban. You played for him for 1 year. What did you take away from your time around such a legend in Nick Saban?
Man, that's the go right there. Coach Saban, just being able to say that I was able to be coached by Coach Saban is truly a blessing. But Coach Saban, one thing I took from him is just, the discipline. He was all about discipline. He was all about how you do some things is how you do everything. And he was all about the details. And that's what made him so great for so many years, is how detail oriented he was. And he didn't care if we were up 50 or if we were losing. He was gonna coach you like the hardest he can possibly coach you. And I saw that, he was on the defense side of the ball, but I saw that in all the time. Like in the way he just talked to us, the way he went about his business. But just being able to be coached by Coach Saban was truly a blessing. That's the GOAT right there. But I took away a lot from Coach Saban.
I'll never forget. I was on the air the day he retired. Like the news came out as we were on the air, and
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. What was? How did you find out, and what was your reaction the day Nick Saban walked away from Alabama? Because it still doesn't feel real all these years later.
Yeah. So he called a team meeting. And we knew it was kind of serious because we had surgeries and stuff that day that people had to get done. We had just finished the season. And they were like, everyone needs to be there. Like they canceled the surgeries. They said everyone needs to be there. So we get in and like he's talking, and I'm thinking like, okay, like originally, like we're about to start this new season. Like we're just having a team meeting to start to basically we had been off for a little bit. Now we're about to start this new season, get into this winter cycle, get going and make a push for this thing next year. He goes, he's talking, and then at the end of it, he says, I'll be retiring. And like none of us knew. And we all started looking at each other like to left and right, and we're like, coaches didn't know. No one knew. I remember, and then the AD came up and he was like, just give me 48 hours. And that was what said. We went into our position meetings and we were all just in shock. Our coach was Coach G, he didn't really even know what to say to us. And we didn't even know what to say because everyone didn't think that was ever going to happen. It was kind of surreal. But you heard
So
it drop.
yeah, that's crazy. It's still stunning to this day. Justice Haynes here with us. So you're at Michigan right now with Sherrone Moore, who was obviously on Harbaugh's staff. The last 2 years he's been the head coach. Knowing what Saban is about, and then also being there for a year with Kalen DeBoer, what makes you think that Sherrone Moore and Kalen DeBoer, both of them, could continue what Alabama set out to do and what Michigan has also set out to do when you look at both those coaches, knowing both of them?
I think, Coach DeBoer he's a great human, great person, very great coach, very skillful in coaching. I think he has a great offensive mind. And I think that he is going to be very successful at Alabama, just the way he goes about his business as well. Coach Moore here at Michigan, I know he's going to be very successful, uh, just by the way he goes about his business. I mean, I say it all the time. Coach Moore reminds me of a younger Coach Saban. Not like he's younger in the version and like he relates with us very well, but like just the way he goes about his business um and the way he handles us players, it's very similar to Coach Saban. Coach Saban cared a lot about, off the field and like what we're doing off the field. It's the same thing with Coach Moore. Like he cares more about that and like the human being than he does the football player. But he's also about that hard work, the details, not talking about it, just be about it. But then he's also, we go in the cafeteria and he's having a blast with you and he's cracking jokes. Just like, I mean, a lot of people didn't see that in Coach Saban. But if you're around him, like that's how he was, like when we're not on the football field. Like he wasn't just this big stickler all the time. Like, no, he had fun. I love being around Coach Saban. And I love being around Coach Moore just like that. So
Justice Haynes here with us for a few more minutes. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. You're coming off a monster game up against Nebraska on the season. You have 537 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns through 4 games. I'm a Heisman Trophy voter. It's tough for a running back to win the award. I voted for Ashton Genty last year, #1. I thought he should have won the award. Do you at all with your start think about, okay, maybe I could make a case and make a run for the Heisman Trophy this year?
it doesn't really cross my mind. I mean, I'm very blessed each and every day, like I said, to play this game. I control the controllables each and every day, the things I can control. Let God handle the rest, and I'll be just fine. I don't really think about all that stuff, like my stats, all that stuff, social media. I stay away from all that. That's something that, I like to do because I don't want to hear the really good. I don't want to hear the really bad. I just want to stay even kill. Don't get too high with the highs, too low with the lows. And just be myself each and every day and just go out there and compete and be the best version of myself and win the day. And I know God will take care of the rest. So that's what I try to do. And I'm
Let,
not really worried about all that other stuff.
let me ask you about some of your teammates. There's so much praise and hype with Bryce Underwood. He's such a youngster, though, being a freshman. So there's going to be some good moments. There's going to be some bad moments, like for us all. What really stands out with your quarterback and Bryce Underwood so far?
I think just the way Bryce came in here and just won over the team, I think that was really special. The way he came in here as a humble kid, a hardworking kid, when he has every accolade, every accomplishment in high school at a Michigan football player, he is Mr. Michigan. And he didn't have to come in there like that, and he did. He came in and he just put his head down and worked. And he's becoming a very vocal leader. And you've seen him transition into that. But you got to first lead by your actions, and I think he did that. And then now he's leading by his voice. But I think Bryce, we all know how talented he is, but just the person he is, that's what I see that a lot of people don't get to see. And then that's what I love about Bryce.
Tell me a little bit about your running mate. There's so many good running back rooms in the country. You got Notre Dame, you got Penn State, and then also yours. How about Jordan Marshall? What's impressed you so far in the early going to the season?
Yeah, I love Jay Marsh. That's like my little brother. Jay Marsh is a hardworking kid, a great player, going to continue to do great things here. But it's not just Jay Marsh. I know a lot of people just talk about Jay Marsh and I. It's the whole running back room, like I alluded to earlier. Like all the other guys in that room, like Jasper Parker, Kuz, Capana, uh Tomas, like all those guys, everyone else, Donovan Johnson, like all those other guys in the room, like you wouldn't be able to tell a leader. Like it's iron sharpens iron, that whole room. Like we all want to be great. We all want to be the best we could possibly be. And we're all sharpening each other and all time and climbing this trajectory together. But that whole room, I just love the way we all compute. I truly believe we had the best unit and best room in the country, period. But it starts, like I said, from the top with TA and Freddie J, pushing us the way they push us each and every day. But I think the world of our room, and I'm just thankful for the way they accepted me into that room.
When you first transferred to Michigan, was it a little bit bizarre just because you did go up against them 2 years ago in that Rose Bowl, and that was a classic game between Michigan and Alabama? I know college football is a business now. The transfer portal happens all the time, but was that a little odd to you at first, going from Alabama to Michigan?
100%. I did think about that. I was like, dang, I just lost to these people, and now I'm about to go be part of it. So, that was kind of surreal. But then also, Michigan and Bama were playing each other in the Rockets
In the
Bowl,
bowl game, yeah.
the bowl game, and I'm like, wow, I just went to Michigan. I'm going to Michigan, and they're about to play each other. And I just left Bama, so watching that game was pretty funny. I was watching back at home, but it was pretty funny watching that game because I want to see my brothers that I just competed with and played again. I want to see them do good, but I also want to see my new team get a win. The good guys got to win, so that's always good.
But when you're at Alabama, obviously the rivalry is Auburn. When you're at Michigan, the rivalry is Ohio State. I know that's at the end of the season. Full disclosure, I can't stand Ohio State. So when you look at that rivalry at the end of the year, how excited are you to be a part of that legendary run of Michigan up against Ohio State in the game?
Well, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I hear about it all the time. They said until you play in it, you're not gonna know how it really feels. But I know that's a big deal around here. That's a really, really big deal, that game. What are we doing to beat Ohio State? We put that on our board every day. No red in the building, none of that stuff. We don't play that. And I just can't wait to be able to have the opportunity to play in that game. It's such a special rivalry that there is in that game.
Justice Haynes, a few more questions with you. Going back to the Nebraska game at halftime, you guys allowed that Hail Mary. It's tied up. What was the scene like in the locker room in halftime to get the second half effort that you guys did get on Saturday?
It wasn't anything. We felt like we dominated that first half. We really did. We know they got lucky on one play. That's part of it. One play ain't gonna define us. And I came in, I remember I was telling the locker room like that one play doesn't define what we just did in that first half to them. The mental, physical defeat that we just put on them in the first half. And we got to take that into the second half and continue to keep doing that. So that one play, it was what it was. We put it behind us. It is what it is. We just knew we had to come out in the second half and just continue to keep dominating mentally and physically. And I feel like we did continue to do that.
I know you're focused on the offense and you weren't going up against their offense, but when you're on the sideline and you got to see a little bit of Dylan Raiola, their quarterback, Nebraska, what stood out to you about him?
His toughness. I think we sacked him. We were talking about like what, 8 times or something like that. He got hit, I feel like every play. But he kept getting up. He kept getting up. He kept delivering strikes. Great player. I know him a little bit. He went to my high school after I had left. So I know like about him and a little bit about him, talked to him, been around him a couple times. So like I know him. And I know he's a hardworking kid. I know he's a humble kid. And he's a great player. So he's going to continue to do great things.
You grew up in a football family. Your dad played for the Steelers and ended his career with the Falcons. He won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. What type of football fan outside of your dad were you growing up as a kid? Like, were there some running backs you really liked?
Jerome Bettis all the way.
Of
So like,
course, the
yeah.
bus.
So they call me Little Bussy. That's something Jerome called me. He called me Bussy. And it's kind of stuck with me. So like my family and my close family, you'll hear them a lot of times. They'll be like, "What up, Bussy?" So Bussy, that's something that Jerome gave me. But Jerome he's always been like another piece that I can always go to, father figure that's helped and when I need questions or anything like that, that I can ask. So definitely Jerome.
Last thing I'll ask you, just for people that wrote this team off after the Oklahoma game, what do you think your Michigan team can be moving forward the rest of the way? What do you think you guys could still accomplish?
I think we can accomplish everything we set out to ourselves at the beginning of the year, and that's to win the whole thing. I think that's, you know, it's all right in front of us. Like I said, it's not the what, it's the how. We got to control the controllables, control what we can control, and put the rest in God's hands. But we can definitely still accomplish everything that we want to do. We just got to keep stacking days, which lead to stacking weeks, and go 1-0 every day and every week. And when we look up, we'll be right where we want to be.
Well, Justice, really enjoyed the conversation. Good luck, good health the rest of the way, and a heck of a start to the season. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.